Have you ever stood on the firing line, felt the ground shake, and heard a sound that wasn't just a gunshot, but a genuine, honest-to-goodness sonic boom ripping through the air? That's the 50 BMG for you. It's a round that announces its presence with authority, a miniature cannonball that turns engine blocks into modern art and makes a mockery of body armor. Now, imagine taking that earth-shattering power and cramming it into the world's most recognizable, most famously reliable rifle platform, the AK-47. It sounds insane, right? It sounds like something a mad scientist would cook up in a secret underground lab after watching way too many action movies and drinking way too much coffee. That, my friends, is the question the AK-50 was born to answer. What happens when you take the unstoppable force and the immovable object of the gun world and smash them together? The AK platform is legendary for its simplicity, its ruggedness, its ability to run after being caked in mud, sand, and who knows what else. It's the rifle of the people, a symbol of rebellion and resilience. The 50 BMG, on the other hand, is the cartridge of gods and giants. It's a specialized tool for reaching out and touching targets a mile away with unimaginable force. Combining these two icons of firepower is a concept so audacious, so ridiculously ambitious, that you can't help but lean in and whisper, "Wait, are they actually going to do it?" The very idea sends shivers down your spine. You picture the classic curved magazine of an AK, but comically oversized, holding rounds that look more like small carrots than bullets. You imagine the signature clack-clack of the AK safety selector, but this time it's guarding a trigger that unleashes a torrent of fire and fury unlike any AK has ever seen before. The air crackles with the potential for both glorious success and spectacular, catastrophic failure. This isn't just about building another rifle. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible, about answering a question that, frankly, nobody in their right mind was brave enough to ask. Could it even work, or would it just explode? This project is the firearm equivalent of strapping a rocket engine to a skateboard. It's a beautiful, chaotic symphony of engineering genius and pure, unadulterated hold my beer and watch this energy. It captures the imagination of every gun enthusiast who has ever looked at two completely different things and thought, you know what would be cool? The AK-50 represents a dream, a loud, heavy, and probably very painful dream, but a dream nonetheless. It's a testament to the spirit of innovation that drives the gun community, a wild ride that we all get to watch from the edge of our seats, wondering if the final product will be a masterpiece or a pipe bomb. And honestly, either outcome would be incredibly entertaining to watch. So, who is the mad genius, the Dr. Frankenstein behind this monstrous creation? That would be none other than Brandon Herrera, also known online as the AK Guy. If you've spent any time in the gun corner of the internet, you know this man. He's a walking encyclopedia of all things Kalashnikov, a guy who eats, sleeps, and breathes AKs. He isn't just a collector or a shooter. He's a builder, a manufacturer, and a historian who has dedicated his life to this iconic platform. His passion for the AK is infectious, and his knowledge is so deep you could probably get lost in it for a week. He's the kind of guy who can tell you the manufacturing history of a rivet just by looking at it. Brandon isn't your typical stuffy gunsmith working in a dusty old shop. He's a product of the internet age, a content creator who brought his love for firearms to YouTube and built a massive following. His channel is a mix of deep-dive technical content, hilarious gun memes, and ambitious projects that push the limits of what's possible. He has a knack for making complex gunsmithing topics accessible, and more importantly, incredibly fun. He saw the gun community's obsession with both the AK and the 50 BMG and decided to do what no one else had the guts to do, merge them into a single, glorious, and absolutely terrifying firearm. The AK-50 project didn't just appear out of thin air. It started as a joke, a meme, a throwaway comment that caught fire online. The community loved the idea so much that it became a running gag, and then it became a challenge. Brandon, never one to back down from a challenge, leaned into it. He declared that he would actually build the thing. The goal was simple, yet monumentally difficult. Create a semi-automatic rifle chambered in 50 BMG that was built on the AK operating system. It had to be reliable, it had to be somewhat controllable, and most importantly, it had to be an AK at its core. It was a promise to his audience, and it turned into an epic saga of engineering. This is what makes the AK-50 so special. It's not a project from a massive, faceless corporation with an unlimited budget. It's a grassroots effort fueled by one man's passion and the overwhelming support of his online community. Every step of the process, from the initial computer-aided design models to the first explosive test fires, has been documented for the world to see. Brandon Herrera put his reputation on the line, inviting millions of people to watch him succeed or fail spectacularly. He's the charismatic, slightly unhinged ringmaster of this firearms circus, and we're all just here for the show, cheering him on as he tries to tame the beast he dared to create. Let's get down to the brass tacks. What makes the AK-50 tick? At its heart, it's an attempt to scale up the legendary Kalashnikov design to handle the immense power of the 50 BMG cartridge. Now, that's easier said than done. You can't just take an AK-47 and drill a bigger hole in the barrel. The forces involved are on a completely different planet. A standard AK-47 fires a 7.62 39mm round, a respectable intermediate cartridge. The 50 Browning machine gun round, however, is an anti-materiel round designed to take out light vehicles and fortifications. The difference in energy is like comparing a firecracker to a stick of dynamite. It's a whole new level of violence. To handle this, everything about the AK-50 has to be bigger, stronger, and beefier. The receiver, which is the frame of the gun, isn't made of stamped sheet metal like a traditional AKM. Instead, it's milled from a solid block of steel, making it incredibly thick and heavy to contain the raw pressure. The bolt-and-bolt carrier, the parts that cycle the action, are massive chunks of hardened steel that look like they belong on a piece of industrial machinery, not a rifle. Even the gas system, which uses gas from the fired cartridge to cycle the next round, had to be completely re-engineered to handle the massive volume of gas produced by the 50 BMG. One of the most iconic features of an AK is its long-stroke gas piston system. This is a key part of what makes the AK so reliable, as the piston and bolt carrier are one solid unit that slams back and forth with incredible force, clearing any dirt or debris in its path. The AK-50 retains this design philosophy, but on a supersized scale. The piston is a monstrous rod of steel that has to move a bolt carrier weighing several pounds. This creates a huge amount of reciprocating mass, which is great for reliability but also contributes to the rifle's already formidable recoil. It's a true Kalashnikov, just one that has been hitting the gym and taking a whole lot of steroids. The dimensions of the AK-50 are just as mind-boggling as its internals. This is not a rifle you can just sling over your shoulder and carry through the woods. It's a behemoth. With its long, heavy barrel and massive receiver, the rifle is expected to weigh somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 pounds, maybe more. That's 3 times the weight of a standard AK-47. The custom-made magazines are huge, boxy contraptions designed to hold a handful of those enormous 50 caliber rounds. Every single component, from the trigger group to the muzzle brake, had to be custom designed and fabricated to withstand forces that would tear a normal rifle to shreds. It's a masterpiece of over-engineering. Building a gun on a computer is one thing. Making it work in the real world is a whole different ballgame, especially when that gun is the AK-50. The testing phase has been a long, grueling, and often explosive journey, all documented for our viewing pleasure. The process started with individual component testing. Can this custom-made extractor pull a heavy, unfired 50 BMG case out of the chamber? Will the firing pin actually have enough force to detonate the primer on such a massive cartridge? Each tiny piece of the puzzle had to be proven before it could be trusted as part of the whole system. This wasn't a process for the impatient. The first time the team assembled a prototype and actually fired it, the world held its breath. These early tests were not about hitting a target or even cycling the action. They were about one thing and one thing only: survival. The primary goal was to ensure the rifle didn't violently disassemble itself in the shooter's hands, a phenomenon engineers politely call catastrophic failure, but we would call a big old explosion. The rifle was often strapped into a lead sled or a remote firing rig, with high-speed cameras watching from a safe distance, ready to capture every millisecond of the violent reaction. Every successful shot that didn't result in flying shrapnel was a massive victory. Slow-motion footage from these tests is absolutely mesmerizing. You can see the rifle flex and wobble under the immense strain. The barrel whips like a fishing rod, and the entire receiver shudders as the massive bolt carrier group begins its violent journey backward. You see the enormous fireball erupt from the muzzle, a brilliant orange blossom of unburnt powder and superheated gas. These cameras revealed problems that were invisible to the naked eye, like parts bending in unexpected ways, or the bolt carrier moving too fast or too slow. It's a brutal, unforgiving dance of physics, and every test provided crucial data for the next revision. Of course, the path to success was paved with failures. There were prototypes that failed to extract the spent casing, leaving it stuck firmly in the chamber. There were versions where the bolt carrier would get stuck, refusing to complete its cycle. In one particularly memorable and terrifying test, a catastrophic failure occurred where the back of the receiver blew out, sending the dust cover flying and reminding everyone just how much energy they were trying to contain. But each failure was a learning experience. It sent Brandon and his team back to the drawing board to reinforce a weak point, redesign a faulty part, or rethink their entire approach. It's a testament to their dedication that they never gave up. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, recoil. Firing a 50 BMG is really an experience. It's not a sharp crack against your shoulder, it's a deep, powerful shove from a very angry giant. Now just imagine that shove coming from a platform that isn't a 30-pound, heavily buffered sniper system, but a rifle based on the AK's notoriously direct gas system. The challenge of making the AK-50 shootable by a mere mortal is almost as great as making it function in the first place. The initial prototypes were brutal, delivering a level of felt recoil that would make even the most seasoned shooter think twice before pulling the trigger the second time. To combat this, Brandon Herrera had to get creative and employ every recoil mitigation trick in the book. The first and most obvious solution is a muzzle brake, and the AK-50 has one of the most aggressive, monstrous muzzle brakes you've ever seen. It's a giant, multi-ported chunk of steel designed to redirect the massive blast of gas sideways and backward, effectively pulling the rifle forward to counteract the rearward push. When the AK-50 fires, it looks like two explosions are happening at once. One going down range and two more blasting out to the sides. This brake is absolutely essential. Without it, the rifle would be borderline uncontrollable. But a muzzle brake alone isn't enough. The team also experimented with a complex recoil mitigation system inside the gun itself. This includes using a combination of heavy-duty springs and even hydraulic buffers, kind of like the suspension on a car. The idea is to absorb and spread out the recoil impulse over a longer period of time. So, instead of a single violent kick, the system tries to turn it into a longer, slower push. You can see it in the slow-motion videos. The entire action and barrel assembly actually slides backward inside the rifle's chassis, soaking up energy before it ever reaches the shooter's shoulder. It's a very clever, and honestly, a very necessary piece of engineering. Even with all this technology, the AK-50 is still an absolute beast to shoot. The videos of people firing it for the first time are pure gold. You see a mix of terror and excitement in their eyes as they brace themselves. They lean into the gun, tuck it in tight, and then pull the trigger. The rifle erupts, and the shooter is violently shoved backward, often with a grunt or a yell. But then, a huge grin spreads across their face. It's the AK-50 smile, a look of pure, unadulterated joy and relief that they survived the experience and got to feel that incredible power firsthand. It's not a gun for a casual day at the range. It's an event. When you talk about semi-automatic 50 BMG rifles, there's one name that dominates the conversation: the Barrett M82. This rifle is an icon, a legend of the modern military. It's been in service for decades and has proven itself in combat all over the world. So, how does the upstart AK-50 stack up against the reigning king? On the surface, they share a goal: sending 50 caliber rounds downrange in a semi-auto fashion. But they are fundamentally different animals, born from completely different design philosophies. The Barrett is a finely tuned instrument, The AK-50 is a sledgehammer. The Barrett M82 operates on a short recoil principle. When fired, the barrel and bolt travel backward together for a short distance before unlocking. This system, combined with the rifle's significant weight, around 30 pounds, and its effective muzzle brake, makes the recoil surprisingly manageable. It's still a 50 BMG, but it's a relatively soft shooting one. The Barrett is also known for its accuracy. While not a true precision sniper rifle, it is more than capable of engaging targets at extreme distances. It's a proven, reliable, and relatively refined system. It's the professional's choice, the established benchmark against which all others are measured. The AK-50, on the other hand, comes from the rough and tumble world of the Kalashnikov. Its long-stroke gas piston system is designed for brute force reliability, not finesse. The pro is that it should, in theory, be less susceptible to fouling and dirt than the Barrett system. An AK is meant to run no matter what, and that's the DNA baked into the AK-50. The con, however, is recoil management and accuracy. The violent cycling of that massive piston and bolt carrier creates a lot of moving mass that can negatively impact a shooter's ability to make precise follow-up shots. It's a trade-off, ultimate reliability for a bit more kick and potentially less pinpoint accuracy. So which one is better? That's the wrong question to ask. The Barrett M82 is a military-grade weapon system with a long and storied history. It's a known quantity. The AK-50 is a passion project, an engineering experiment, and a love letter to the AK platform. The Barrett is a scalpel. The AK-50 is a chainsaw. You wouldn't use a chainsaw for surgery, but man, is it fun to cut down a tree with one. The AK-50's appeal isn't in trying to be a better Barrett. Its appeal lies in its audacity, its heritage, and the sheer unbridled joy of seeing an AK platform do something it was never ever meant to do. The journey of the AK-50 has been as much a cultural phenomenon as it has been an engineering project. From the very beginning, this rifle was born from memes, and it has continued to generate them at every turn. The internet has been an active participant in this saga. Every update video, every successful test, and especially every explosive failure is immediately clipped, remixed, and turned into a piece of community lore. Phrases like, "It didn't explode," became celebratory rallying cries. The dust cover that flew off during a failure became a legendary artifact, a holy relic of the project's chaotic development. The reactions to the AK-50 are a huge part of its charm. Watching someone's face the first time they see the rifle in person is priceless. Their eyes go wide as they try to process the sheer scale of it. It looks like a normal AK-47 that was put into a photo editor and had the enlarged tool used on it about 50 times. Then they pick it up, and the reaction is always the same. A surprised grunt followed by, "Whoa, that is heavy!" The rifle has a presence, a gravity that is both intimidating and deeply, deeply cool. It's a firearm that seems to have walked right out of a video game's final boss battle. The wow factor is off the charts. When that rifle goes off at a public range day, everything else stops. Conversations halt, other shooters lower their firearms, and every single head turns to see what just made that incredible noise. It's not just a loud bang, it's a concussive blast that you feel in your chest, even from 50 feet away. The fireball from the muzzle brake is a spectacle in itself, a brilliant flash of light and heat. People cheer, they laugh, they shake their heads in disbelief. It's pure, unadulterated firearms entertainment. The AK-50 isn't just a gun, it's a performance. This whole project taps into a fundamental part of gun culture, the love of the extreme and the absurd. It's why we love seeing watermelons explode in slow motion, and why we're fascinated by giant revolvers. The AK-50 is the ultimate expression of that spirit. It's impractical, it's over the top, and it's absolutely glorious. Brandon Herrera knew this from the start, embracing the meme-worthy nature of his creation. He's not just building a rifle, he's building a legend, one hilarious, explosive, and shareable moment at a time. The story of the AK-50 is a story being written by the entire community. Alright, let's be honest for a minute. Is the AK-50 practical? In a word, no. Not even a little bit. And that is completely, totally, 100% okay. This rifle was never intended to be your go-to choice for home defense or your trusty companion on a hunting trip, unless you're hunting T-Rexes. Its purpose isn't rooted in practicality, it's rooted in passion, innovation, and the sheer joy of creating something that has never existed before. Trying to judge the AK-50 by the same standards as a standard rifle is like judging a monster truck on its fuel economy. You're missing the entire point. Let's just run through the logistics. First, the cost. This isn't a rifle you'll find on sale at your local gun store for a few $100s. The amount of research, development, custom machining, and failed prototypes that have gone into this project means the final price tag will be substantial, likely well into the 5-figure range. Then there's the cost of ammunition. 50 BMG isn't cheap. You're talking several dollars every single time you pull the trigger. A fun day at the range with the AK-50 could easily cost more than the monthly payment on a new car. This is a toy for those with very deep pockets. Then there's the usability, or lack thereof. The rifle is enormous and weighs as much as a small child. Just carrying it from your car to the firing line is a workout. Finding a range that even allows you to shoot a 50 BMG can be a challenge in itself, as many indoor ranges and smaller outdoor clubs simply can't handle the power. And while shooting it is an incredible experience, it's not exactly a comfortable one. The concussive blast from the muzzle brake is intense for the shooter and downright unpleasant for anyone standing nearby. It's a gun you shoot a few times for the thrill, not one you spend all day with. So, if it's not practical, what is it for? It's a showpiece. It's a because I can project. It's a testament to American ingenuity and the slightly crazy spirit of the firearms community. It's a gun you bring out to make your friends' jaws drop. It's a piece of functional art that celebrates the legacy of Mikhail Kalashnikov in the most absurd and wonderful way possible. The value of the AK-50 isn't in its practicality as a tool, but in its power as a symbol. It proves that with enough passion, determination, and a healthy disregard for the word sensible, you can make even the wildest ideas a reality. So, as the dust settles and the ringing in our ears finally begins to fade, we're left with one final epic question. What is the ultimate destiny of the AK-50? Is this project a stroke of pure, unadulterated genius? A new chapter in the long and storied history of the AK platform? Is it the beginning of a new legend? A firearm that will be talked about and revered by gun enthusiasts for generations to come? Or is it simply a beautiful disaster, a glorious, over-the-top experiment that was more about the journey than the destination? A wild ride that was fun to watch, but ultimately just a flash in the pan? On one hand, you can argue for genius. Brandon Herrera took two of the most iconic elements in the firearms world and successfully merged them against all odds. He is creating a functional, semi-automatic, 50 BMG Kalashnikov. That sentence alone is a monumental achievement. He has pushed the boundaries of the AK design further than anyone thought possible, solving immense engineering challenges along the way. The final product, if it proves to be reliable, will be a historic firearm, a testament to what a small, dedicated team can accomplish. It will forever be a symbol of grassroots innovation and the power of a passionate community. On the other hand, the beautiful disaster argument has its merits. The rifle is comically impractical, astronomically expensive to shoot, and punishingly heavy. It serves no logical purpose in the real world that isn't already better served by existing platforms like the Herrera. Its development has been plagued by setbacks and spectacular failures, showcasing just how close to the edge of mechanical possibility this project truly is. You could argue that it's the firearm equivalent of a concept car, amazing to look at and incredible to experience, but ultimately not meant for the real world. It's a magnificent spectacle, but a spectacle nonetheless. But maybe, just maybe, the answer is that it's both. The AK-50 is a work of genius precisely because it's a beautiful disaster. Its lack of practicality is what makes it so charming. Its insane ambition is what makes its success so compelling. It captures the imagination not in spite of its absurdity, but because of it. It reminds us that not everything has to have a practical purpose. Sometimes it's okay to build something simply for the challenge, for the thrill, and for the sheer, unadulterated fun of it. The AK-50 is more than just a gun. It's a story. and it's one of the most exciting stories the gun world has seen in a very long time. What do you think? Genius or glorious chaos?